This is the plaintiff, Ronald Kelly. He says he helped the defendant move into her new apartment. And when it came time to be paid, she told him she packed her wallet in one of the boxes and couldn't find it. She promised to pay him. The louse of all louses hasn't. And he's here seeking the rightful payment of the $650 he's rightfully owed. This is the defendant, Jennifer Kingston. She says the plaintiff's trying to scam her, and she's not the type to be scammed. She paid him $500 for the move, the price he quoted her. After the move, he tried hitting her up for an additional $150. The guy's been harassing her ever since, and she just wants to get rid of him from her life and move on after the judge rules in her favor. She's accused of trying to pull a non-payment move on a mover.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff was hired to move the defendant into her apartment, and she stiffed him. But the defendant says she paid the guy $500, and he's a scammer. It's the case of scammer. He hardly knew her.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ronald Kelly,
Yes.
doing business as Brass Lantern Movers. You are suing Jennifer Kingston for $650. You say she owes you for a move.
Right.
What happened?
Well, on November 3rd, I moved her from one apartment to another.
How long have you been in business?
A couple years.
What's a couple of years, 1 or 20? 2? Okay.
And
How many employees do you have?
2.
Okay.
So we did a move.
And you were
when
recommended to her by whom? You had moved her sister, apparently?
I had moved her sister before.
And that went fine?
Yep, went
All
fine.
right, so you were moving her from one apartment to another?
To another.
Okay.
And she had told me it was a smaller move than it was. And so when we started loading, she said, oh, I have a big storage unit downstairs, which was probably 15 by 15 or something. So total boxes and furniture. So so I told her, I said, you know, this is more than you said. I'm going to have to charge you more. This is before we're loading the stuff in. She says, that's fine, exactly.
So do you agree on the amount?
Yeah, she agreed, $150 more.
$150. So during the move, the
Right.
$500 move, she tells you, oh, I have a storage unit
Right.
filled with boxes. So then during that, you two agree for another $150.
$50,
All right.
right.
Do you have any contracts in writing?
No, I don't.
Have you ever?
Never made contracts. I mean, I've been an antique dealer for 40 years, and
That's different.
never had any
Yeah,
problem
no, but you
with-
understand that is a completely different
Yeah.
animal than
And,
this. Okay.
So then we got all done. She says, oh, I must have packed my wallet.
You know how
checkbook-
we're always doing that,
checkbook.
packing our wallets,
You know.
taping them up in boxes?
Yeah, and
That did not strike you as complete garbage?
Yes, it did. So she says, my check didn't clear, her paycheck, I think it was. And, but Monday, now I have a lot of text messages between us. And
According to you, she said, we'll talk about that in a second. According to you, she's paid you nothing, correct?
paid me absolutely nothing.
What is going on? Let me hear from you.
We spent time on the phone. I explained to him I have a 2-bedroom apartment, went through, told him all the furniture. So he quoted me $500 over the phone. And then we confirmed the day before. He showed up with his 2 workers. They did move me. And at the end, he called me outside. One of his workers was using my bathroom, and the other one was in my living room talking to my mom and my sister. He handed over the $500 in cash.
Who handed over?
I did.
To him?
Correct.
Where's your receipt?
I didn't get one.
Why not?
Because after I gave him the $500, he came back. We agreed that I would give him the additional $150 because I wasn't expecting it that day.
Back up, because you missed where you had agreed to give him $150. So you're still back at the first apartment.
Mm-hmm.
How does it come about that you agree you're going to give him an additional $150?
So it seems like she's lying about this $150. Is her credibility now completely shot with respect to what she allegedly paid or didn't pay?
Yeah, one lie leads to another, so the credibility is gone.
Does one lie shoot your credibility in court?
Honestly, I disagree. If you lie once, it doesn't necessarily mean you lied all the time. I mean,
Okay, what do you say to that? Well, if you lie once, it doesn't necessarily mean you lied all the time, so...
Oh, I don't know. If you're a liar, you're a liar. So it's pretty hard to believe you if you're gonna lie.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
So they had moved a bunch of boxes out of my living room into the hallway, and then Ron sat down on a box and said, you know, this is really more than we anticipated, and in order to move you, we need another 150.
And you agreed?
I felt I needed to agree because at that point, the way I was feeling from the way he was discussing it was that he wasn't going to continue moving me if I didn't agree.
Did
So
you
I
say
agree.
that? Did you say, well, I don't think I should have to pay another 150. It is what I told you it would be. You didn't have any discussions with him? Or you just said, yeah, you're right. Here's another 150?
Well,
In my head?
essentially, yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so now the agreement for the contract is $650. All right, so now according to you, you get to the new place, and where are you physically where according to you pay him $500?
He pulled me outside away from his workers. He said he doesn't like to do business in front of his workers. So at the back of his truck that was still backed up to the door, I handed him over the $500 and told him that the $150 I didn't have because I wasn't expecting that. But I was waiting. I had just gotten my refund check from my previous landlord
Do you
that I
have
was
any
moving out
proof
of.
that you gave him $500?
No,
Do
unfortunately,
you
because
have, did she give you $500?
No, sir.
Okay, now
No, ma'am.
typically, it's ma'am, but, or judge, or your highness, I would also have accepted your highness. So typically when someone wants to prove that they paid cash, they show a receipt. Now, your reason for not having a receipt was what?
So I assumed that he was writing me a receipt and that I would sign that I owed him the additional $150.
And what happened instead?
He began talking to himself and pacing around my living room to the point where my sister was like, who is he talking to?
Oh.
Because he was like, it was talking
Where's your
under
sister?
his
Is your
voice.
sister here to testify?
No, but she did write a statement
Let
for
me see your sister's statement. Okay, and basically she's saying that he came to her apartment, which I guess he recognized because he had moved her into that one?
He thought it was my apartment.
Okay.
And the door was partly open on November 8th, and he pushed his way in.
Okay, and
was-
demanded to speak with you because you were blowing him off? You were
But I
completely not
wasn't.
answering
I
any of
had
his phone
been
calls.
responding.
Well, let's see. Do you have text between the two of you?
I do.
Can I see them on your phone?
Yeah.
What was the day of the move?
November 3rd.
And do you have the text between you? Why don't you go ahead and bring that up as well? Okay, so the first series of texts, you're supposed to meet at the bank that morning, and you're supposed to let him know when your lunch is so that you can meet at the bank, and then you completely ignore him, and at 2:33 he says, what time is lunch? You answer, I got off the phone with my bank 5 minutes ago. They said the check will not process until overnight. I presume you're referring to your paycheck?
No, that was the refund check from my previous landlord that I had told Mr. Kelly when it cleared, I would
So
get him
is
the
it about your
$150.
paycheck that you're not paying, or is it about your landlord's refund check that you're not paying? What is the reason you're not paying?
Mr. Kelly assumed it was the paycheck.
So I
The
can't
check-
get money out until it clears. I only have $54 in my account until then. To which he responds, I want the money by noon tomorrow. I have to take my wife to the cancer doctor at 2. At 10 the next day, he says, hi, have you checked the bank? At 12:30, because you've ignored him, hi, I haven't heard from you about the money yet. Let me know, thanks. At 4:40, because you have ignored him, hi, what is going on? You have not got to me all day. Tell me about the money you owe me. At 2:43 the next day, because you still are ignoring him, hi, are you going to call me today? And then the day after that, at 11, still no call.
There were calls.
I'm sorry, honey. Just
And there
prove to
were-
me that you did not ignore him for 3 days like he says in the text you're doing.
I didn't ignore him.
Can I
Counsel-
just ask you something? You know that the rest of us mere mortals, when we agree to pay somebody $650 to move us, you know the rest of us have to do it, right? That we don't get a move, get to not pay, and then get to ignore the person who's trying to collect.
I didn't ignore him.
Okay,
and
well,
I did pay
it
him.
certainly sounds like you did. And here's the problem. If it looks like I think you're trying to cheat him out of the $150, I start to look really askance at the idea that you paid him $500. Nobody sees you pay him $500. He has affidavits from his workers saying that you didn't pay him.
His workers weren't anywhere
Of
near
course
us.
not, because you took great care to tell me in your recitation of the facts, no one was around when I paid him. That made me wonder, too. Do I need any more evidence that you are a cheat and a liar and you didn't pay the guy a penny? $650, verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff is going to get his $650. Miss Kingston, the judge kind of let you have it. She called you a cheat and a liar.
Yeah, I'm not a cheat and a liar. I paid him the $500. He just wants additional money. I agreed that I owed him $150 and that I'd pay him, but apparently that's not enough. I don't know what he did with the $500 I gave him.
But
to
you
come
couldn't
after
prove
me
it,
for another,
and the judge just didn't
it's
believe
my
you.
fault. I didn't ask for a receipt, but I felt uncomfortable with him in my house at that point, pacing around and talking to himself. That, you know, and he proved it through text messages and through phone calls that he was
You don't
harassing
have
me
to
as
tell
well.
me. The judge
But-
listened to your testimony, and she just simply
I
didn't
don't think
believe
she
you.
listened to all of it,
didn't-
though.
Oh, she heard everything.
She
Sorry
took
for
it
you.
the way she wanted.
Okay.
So,
All right.
thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kelly. What do you think? Step over here if you don't mind, please. Thanks. Okay.
It went the way it should go. She didn't pay me,
Yeah.
so nothing.
Well, congratulations.
Okay, thank you
You
very
learned something
much.
from this? You've gone from being an antique dealer for 40 years to moving?
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Antique business kind of died out.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you picked a tough profession.
Yes, I did.
It's not easy.
I had the trucks.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Harvey.
Okay, I mean, Doug, look, I mean, in all of these cases, receipts are the king. That if you have a hard receipt, that's going to tell everything. But here, it's pretty clear that she's lying. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.